Morning light breaks over a long stretch of pine forest highway, a place where wind usually whistles between the trees, where passing trucks echo through the valley. But today, something unfamiliar glides through the landscape. No engine growl, no rolling vibration, no mechanical rattle. It moves like a shadow, smooth, precise, impossibly quiet. This is the ZeroSound RV, a next-generation mobile habitat engineered to remove something RV travelers have accepted for decades: noise. Most people don't realize how much noise defines the RV experience. The chassis rattles, cabinets shake, the engine drones endlessly, wind buffets the walls, and every bump in the road becomes an orchestra of vibration. Even at rest, temperature changes cause the shell to pop and crack. Camping isn't quiet. Every camper knows that. And yet, when designers began work on the ZeroSound RV, they insisted on an uncompromising challenge: build a mobile living space where silence is not a luxury, but the foundation. The idea wasn't born from marketing. It was born from physics. Noise is vibration, and vibration is uncontrolled movement of structure, air, and mechanical parts. If you eliminate vibration, you eliminate noise. So the engineers approached the RV not as a vehicle, but as an acoustic instrument, something that could be tuned, dampened, reshaped, and entirely rethought. The exterior shape was the first battlefield. Traditional RVs are slabs of aluminum and fiberglass thrown together with seams, vents, and cheap insulation. ZeroSound had no patience for that. Its body is a single-piece acoustic shell made from a multi-layer composite, graphite-infused polymer on the outside, a viscoelastic core that absorbs vibration, and an internal honeycomb structure that prevents resonance. The walls don't just block sound, they kill it. When you tap the exterior, you don't hear a hollow thud, you hear nothing. Then came the chassis. Every RV frame on the road today is built like a budget trailer: thin metal, weak joints, and zero acoustic thought. ZeroSound uses a semi-monocoque structure with vibration isolation pillars separating the living cabin from the drive system. The engine, battery pack, suspension, and cabin exist on different floating layers, each disconnected by silent mounts. That means mechanical noise never reaches the cabin. You can stand next to the RV when it's driving, and it sounds like an electric train passing from far away. Soft, barely audible, and clean. The drivetrain is fully electric, not because it's trendy, but because combustion noise was impossible to justify. The electric motors use dual-stage magnetic isolation, preventing motor harmonics from traveling into the frame. Even the cooling system uses phase-change heat transfer to eliminate loud fans. You don't hear airflow, you don't hear buzzing, you don't hear the motor ramping up or down. You hear the road surface, and even that is muted. But the engineers knew that silence on the highway is only half the story. Silence inside the cabin is the real test. So they redesigned the interior structure from scratch. The floor rests on a floating mount with acoustic dampers. The walls use micro-perforated sound absorption. Cabinets latch with magnetic dampers instead of hinges that click. The bed frame has vibration isolation feet. Ventilation uses an ultra-slow laminar flow system that moves air without audible turbulence. The philosophy is simple. If it moves, it must be silent. If it resonates, it must be absorbed. When you step inside the ZeroSound for the first time, the difference hits instantly. It's not just quiet, it's empty of noise. No hum, no drone, no ambient buzz. It's the same kind of silence you feel in a professional recording studio or deep forest snow. Your mind notices it before your ears do. Travelers describe it as unnerving for 20 seconds, then addictive forever. In a world where RVs are synonymous with noise fatigue, the ZeroSound RV introduces a new type of travel experience, one where the journey doesn't wear you down. It restores something RVers have never had: mental stillness. And as the neutral matte body glides through the forest without disturbing it, the narrator makes the point clear. This isn't an evolution of the RV. It's a rejection of everything that came before. But silence is not achieved with materials alone. The real genius of ZeroSound comes from its acoustic engineering systems hidden under the surface, and that's where the story moves next. Silence, in practice, is not an absence of sound. It's the control of it. To build a silent RV, engineers needed mechanisms that predict noise, cancel noise, and prevent noise before it ever reaches the human ear. That's where ZeroSound's internal architecture becomes a masterpiece. The entire RV runs on 3 acoustic control layers: structural damping, air phase silencing, and active cancellation. The first layer, structural damping, eliminates vibrational noise. Every piece of the cabin, floor, cabinets, ceiling, electrical panels, floats on silent bushings that absorb mechanical shock. When the road surface bumps, the energy doesn't spread through the frame, it dies at the source. The result is a driving experience where bumps feel soft and muted, as if the RV itself has weightless suspension. The second layer, air phase silencing, addresses airborne sound. In normal RVs, sound reflects inside like a metal container. ZeroSound uses perforated acoustic textiles and embedded sound traps to capture frequencies across the human hearing range. Air inside the cabin behaves differently. It's thick, still, calm. The moment you sit down, you feel the pressure difference. It's engineered silence, not accidental. The third layer is the most advanced, active acoustic cancellation. Using an array of directional microphones and speakers hidden in the walls, the system captures external sound waves and produces opposing frequencies to neutralize them. It's not simple consumer ANC. It's tuned to structural vibrations, wind noise, tire resonance, and aerodynamic turbulence. When wind hits the body at 65 miles per hour, the system cancels the whoosh before it ever reaches the cabin. But ZeroSound didn't stop at motion. Parked silence was equally important. Temperature changes cause typical RVs to creak as materials expand. ZeroSound uses thermal stable composites that don't warp or contract audibly. The cabin maintains silent integrity whether the temperature swings from desert heat to mountain cold. At night, when a forest gets quiet, ZeroSound becomes quieter still. No ticks, no snaps, no body noise. Airflow is normally the enemy of silence. Fans hum, vents whistle. ZeroSound uses phase change cooling plates to move heat without airflow most of the time. When ventilation is needed, an ultra-slow laminar system moves air so gently you can't hear it. It's the first RV where you don't know the AC is on unless you see the temperature change. Even furniture was redesigned. Cabinet latches don't click, they glide. Drawers don't slam, they slow themselves. The bed frame doesn't flex, it hovers on an isolated platform. Every skeletal element of sound is removed or replaced by silence-oriented design. Outside, the aerodynamics play a role too. The RV's shape isn't just sleek for looks, it's engineered to cut airflow without turbulence. Small surface details guide wind around the body, minimizing buffeting. When you drive past trees, you don't hear the typical low-frequency wind pulse. You hear almost nothing. Noise from the road is another enemy. Tires create friction hum and harmonic vibration. ZeroSound uses custom acoustic tires with soft tread compounds, noise-absorbing channels, and pressure-optimized rubber density. They don't just grip, they absorb audible frequencies. The suspension isolates vertical shock, but the tires isolate horizontal vibration.
Once engineers silenced the mechanical elements, they focused on something deeper: mental silence. The cabin is designed with a minimalist interior, neutral tones, soft textures, no unnecessary reflectiveness. The lighting glows from hidden zones, avoiding harsh points of brightness. Every line is clean, every detail intentional, nothing visually chaotic. The silence becomes emotional, not just physical. The result is an interior where your mind settles. Travelers say they fall asleep faster, rest deeper, and think more clearly. They describe long drives that should be exhausting, but feel effortless. The ZeroSound experience isn't powered by horsepower or luxury. It's powered by the absence of everything that normally drains you. But silence would be meaningless if the RV couldn't handle harsh terrain, real weather, and long-distance travel. That's where the final chapter begins: real-world performance.
When ZeroSound hits a mountain pass, something strange happens. You hear the world instead of the vehicle. Wind through the trees, water running along rock, gravel crunching under tires, soft, muted, almost symmetric. It feels like hiking inside a protective shell. The environment surrounds you without overwhelming you. You're inside the landscape, not removed from it. On long drives across empty desert roads, the silence shifts. Instead of constant vibration, the cabin becomes a meditation space. You notice details you've never heard before: the faint hum of your own breathing, the subtle scrape of clothing, the natural rhythm of silence. Travelers describe road fatigue dropping dramatically. In regular RVs, the noise wears down your body hour by hour. In ZeroSound, the body never enters that stress cycle. You arrive rested, not drained. At night, parked deep in the wilderness, ZeroSound shows its true difference. Regular RVs creak when temperatures drop, expanding and contracting. Their frames pop, their walls tick, their roofs bang in the cold. ZeroSound doesn't. The thermal stable structure absorbs expansion quietly. The interior remains acoustically dead, and even wildlife outside sounds distant and soft through the composite shell. You hear nothing but the outside world as it actually is. Inside, the lighting shifts to warm silence. Soft amber tones, no harsh bulbs, no buzzing drivers. You sit on the sofa and feel the absence of mechanical life. It's the first RV where silence isn't a luxury, it's the design language. ZeroSound isn't for people who want noise, crowds, and campground chaos. It's for travelers who value solitude, clarity, focus, and mental reset. For photographers who need perfect silence at sunrise. For writers who want to hear their thoughts clearly. For long-distance explorers who want the journey itself to be peaceful, not stressful. Even maintenance and service follow the same silent philosophy. Panels open without clicking. Access points use damped mechanics. The engine bay lifts on soft hinges. Nothing slams. Nothing snaps. Nothing vibrates. And then there's the emotional element, a side most vehicles never deliver. When you shut the cabin door behind you in ZeroSound, the outside world disappears. Stress drops instantly. Travelers compare it to stepping into a flotation tank, a private library, or a luxury recording studio. A sanctuary on wheels. In the final sequence, the narrator's voice quiets as the camera drifts around the matte graphite body parked on a silent forest road. No noise, no vibration, no mechanical world intruding. The road is loud, the world is loud, but the journey doesn't have to be. For the first time, silence travels with you. This is the ZeroSound RV, only
on RV America.